Up here in the top left, in the green, the Protoss player, one game away from a big upset. He is. San, he is. He is San.
Yes. His opponent is not going for an early pool for SK Telecom T1.
SK Telecom T1 Su.
Some Sioux fans down here in the studio going crazy. Time to win.
Yeah. The one thing about, you know, even doing the pool twice in a row, it's okay because your opponent isn't going to expect it the second time, and the third time you're like, well, he's not going to expect that I do it a third time, right? I feel like even with that surprise factor in there, it's like if you do it again, San, I said something similar yesterday. I'm not sure exactly which games they were, but it was like if you play the same build over and over again, your opponent is going to get that practice even in the games that he's playing. And he's going to feel very comfortable against it once you do it for the third time. He's just going to be like, oh, okay, again? All right, well, I know the mistake that I made in games 1 and 2, and now I'm going to do it this way. And, you know, I just feel like the Protoss has a better chance to hold it off when he goes for it.
Well, he's doing the super opposite here. The hatchery first, and it looks like he's going to take a guess. When he sent that other drone, I thought he was just going to go blind into triple hatch, but just checks to make sure he's not being cannoned. Then adds a extractor and goes into pool. So he's going to have fast speed, most likely, and a good economy to follow that up. And back at home for San. Does a gateway expand again. Playing things very old school. It's actually, of course, a current way of playing, but you know, back in the day, that was the way to expand using gateways. Became popular again because of the Mothership Core and Heart of the Swarm.
Yeah.
Also because Naniwa was able to figure it out pretty quick how to do it.
Now, San not sure of where Su is just yet, but he is going to send that probe in the right direction.
That base is creepy. It's got a lot of creep on it.
Yeah. For you guys watching in the high quality, you can see that stuff moving around.
As far as I know, I think this tournament is actually free in Source. So if you're not on Source, try it.
Well, that's great.
Somebody told me that anyways. So if I'm wrong, I'm like, well, get a ticket.
Yeah.
Here comes the Zealot.
GSL Hot 6.
Yeah, that logo got updated today. Thanks for GameHeart to come in and make changes on the fly in the middle of this tournament.
Now sending out his Zealot here. They're going to be very aggressive here. Wants to save this probe. I feel like, well, he's gonna meet up here with the Mothership Core and really try to get down those Zerglings.
He's actually turning all the way around with that. That's pretty crazy. He really wants to block the Lings from getting into his base. Do it with his probe here. If he stops it, nope. Just gonna let him in. It's funny because he turned all the way around and then also just let the Lings in.
Yeah, and now he's going to turn all the way back around once he realizes he can't hold it off. And Su's going to start picking out these probes. Actually gets one. A bit of a mistake there. Got to micro those guys back.
Just goes to show you see 8 Lings against 14 probes, or 2 Lings against 23. And the 2 Lings against 23 somehow seem to be much better microed. Gets one. A few more Lings coming over here. It is going to be 4 gates without +1, and so far it's unscouted. But it's against 2 base mass speedlings. It's just going to be, looks to be almost like a speedling all in. How many more speedlings is he going to make? He has 22 on the map. Against pure Zealot, though, let's find out. This is going to be really interesting. He's going to go for an attack here, but as soon as the Zealots come in, he's going to want to send those home.
Yep. For now, he's only got 4 Lings back at his house.
Over there, his house.
Yeah.
He's got like the hidden 4 Lings under the doormat.
They pop out when you try to ring the doorbell. Not the best welcoming guess.
No, definitely not.
Well, Su with the speed, he should be able to hold this off pretty well when he sees it. Only 4 Zealots over here.
He needs a lot more Lings. I mean, a lot more Zealots, excuse me.
Yeah. Here's the surround.
Get him out.
He's trying to warp them in now, but it looks like it's going to be just too many Lings here getting the nice surround. Following up with more Lings now. Mothership Core coming in a bit late to try to help, but he's going to be able to take out the pylon pretty easily here.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to do another warp in. It's too late now. But he did force a lot of Lings. A lot of Lings were made anyways in general, so it's hard to argue that he forced Lings. But since Lings were made and he traded okay against them with the Zealots, he's at a better worker count right now. He is on 2 assimilators, hasn't added a 3rd or a 4th yet, and goes into robotics. I wonder what the next plan here is going to be. With all those sentries, I think we could see maybe a sentry drop. Keep in mind also, Su's on 2-base. And he's going 2-base lair.
Well, there's the 3rd base. The Mothership Core going to...
He actually might get that with the Zealots running over if he keeps the Lings away.
Yeah, the Mothership Core does enough damage to keep it around the same amount of health, slowly ticking up. So if it's attacking the entire time it's building, it's going to be very low by the end of the full warping process. Or I guess not warping, but building process.
2-base Spire against an Immortal push. He's going to need a lot of Spine Crawlers. And he needs the scouting information that this is coming. If he doesn't know, then he might just die even if the 3rd base is killed here and crushed.
Yeah. If he goes and checks to the front, he's not getting much information at all. He's like, if he goes up enough, he can't see that the one robotics there. But look at this, all these Zealots coming in here, and that hatchery is pretty much forfeit. There's nothing he can do to defend that. Gets canceled. Is going to save the drone.
It's a lot of Zealots here, and he's just going to fight the Lings, I'd say, probably, until he needs to recall. Could try to time warp, too, and get like a good engagement that way.
Well, San splits off 2 of these Zealots, and Su is going to pick those off first. That's a nice little grab by him, and now he has more Zerglings for the follow-up. Once to get this round, he does. Now fighting with the Queens that are going to focus down that Mothership Core. Should be fine against these Zealots.
He's going to have 8 Mutas, and there's those Spines I was talking about. Goes into 3 of them. This is such a funny game. He's going to do a attacker with just 1 Immortal. Warp Prism, 6 Sentries. The Spines are almost ready. He's going into double Stargate to help deal with the Phoenixes, but if he's going to do this, why attack? I think he's just going to poke. He can't really commit to this. The Spines, if they finish, now that's a big if right now. There's the recall. Okay, this makes more sense. Yeah. Just poke, force more Lings, go into the double Spire or double Stargate at home, and that's fine. I like the handling of this.
Yeah, the Mutalisks now that are coming out, he's got 8, and they're coming across. But by the time he gets over there, there should be at least 1 Phoenix. So with decent micro and some Stalkers in your base and maybe some cannons, should be able to defend it okay.
Yeah.
Especially if he runs the Mutalisk straight into Guardian shielded units. It's pretty good defense right there.
He's about to have 3 Phoenixes out. The Mothership Core kills another Mutalisk.
Wow.
Things are not looking good for Su, who, by the way, still doesn't have a 3rd base.
Yeah, he's only
He hasn't even started it. Yeah, it's heading over to make. And there's just an observer sitting over there saying, you know what? I know you don't have a 3rd base. I don't even need to take a 3rd base yet. I'm going to take one pretty soon because I can. But I'm, like, pretty relaxed at home right now, having the counter to your Mutalisks. You're making Corruptors? You're making Corruptors against me right now? I don't have a care in the world. He hasn't seen the Corruptors yet, but he will soon. A few more Mutalisks coming out. And until he has reason to believe he should stop making Phoenixes, he will keep making them. So, situation here is a bit uncomfortable for Su right now.
Yeah, he's got a very awkward composition as well. He's got Mutas and Corruptors here. There are no Colossi. I mean, it's going to be good for fighting against the Phoenixes. But besides that...
There's like a dance party going on in that Warp Prism.
There's something else going on there. It's shaking so much.
Yeah. There's definitely something funky happening over there. That Warp Prism.
They got a disco ball in that thing.
Well, if the Warp Prism could just stop its party for a minute, you see that there's actually a hidden base being planted, which is a smart move by Su. Could end up being unlucky if it gets scouted.
Well,
oh my goodness, this push, Brendan.
This is going to be the hard thing. He's got 17 Zerglings. He's going to be banking so hard on those Mutas, and there are so many Phoenixes in the air. He unroots his Spine Crawlers. They're not ready in time. They finally get down there. Forget about the hidden base. I mean, he's got to defend this push first.
Yeah, this Corruptor count that he has, too, is not all too useful. Maybe he can kill a Warp Prism. I mean, the Corruptors keep the Phoenixes from destroying every Mutalisk he has, but when it comes to a straight-up fight, they're not going to be useful against the 13 Stalkers on the ground, nor the Immortal. Immortal is going to be useful mostly for killing static defense, obviously, since there are no roaches in this army.
You know, San giving Su a lot of time here to plant those Spine Crawlers over here at the 3rd base, but he still has such a strong army. More Warpins coming in here, and here is the fight.
This could actually put Su into that lower match here. Force field's going down. So far, decent. The Lings have to come in here around the force fields with the Stalkers are eliminating them pretty rapidly. And now the Corruptor's trying to defend those Mutalisks while so much Stalker damage output is on these static defenses. That Spine Crawler has to be canceled. Force fields here not quite killing, trapping the Lings out, but trapping them in.
Yeah, there are just way too many Stalkers here right now. He's making a bunch of Lings as well as more Mutalisks here. But he lost his third base. There's no mining going at his hidden base as well. And San is still on 2 bases, mining perfectly fine.
Well, I mean, this is starting to look pretty unwinnable for Su. He needs a perfect engagement. Here we go. Lings from multiple sides. There's not a ton of force fields left, and he puts down every single bit of corruption that he can on these Stalkers. Transfuse is being dropped even on those Mutalisks. And can he hold? It's looking pretty desperate. The last of those Phoenixes, you know, just killing so much, even killing now Overlords. And drones long distance mining into their death. And so many Overlords here without Overlord speed, which would be crazy if he did have, are going to die. So then further supply block Su, who's on 2 base against San's incredible 2 base timing here. GG, San will advance. Does a double fist pump, raising the roof. San gets out of the group in first place to make the round of 4. Don't know what's going on in Su's head right now, but San playing a much better series, and also against Maru looking fierce. This guy could impress some people going into the semis.
The thing here I think you have to note is that San played incredibly. Every game that he played there was very, very high level. And I feel like Maru was not prepared. He got a little bit overwhelmed, it seemed. And then Su, being a little bit unimpressed, and then in that final game, wasn't ready for the push. And he got very far behind. His third base was way late. Went for a weird 2-base lair with Spire. And San took it to him.
Well, San takes a crazy upset here to get out of the group in first place. And up next, of course, we're going to have our losers match between Maru and Oz to find out which one of these players is going to get out in last place and not advance today after a quick